I feel like the longer you're with somebody, the stronger and the better and the healthier and the more safe your relationship should feel and it should be. I don't believe in honeymoon phases. I don't believe that you just fall out with people or you just get to a place of complacency and this is just the way your relationship is supposed to look because y'all been together for so long. I don't believe any of that. Because as long as you are constantly communicating wants and needs on both ends, as long as you are checking in with each other to make sure your routine still works, as long as you're making sure the sex is still good and the intimacy is still good, and both of you are feeling heard and feeling seen, your relationship should constantly thrive throughout the years of y'all being together. So when the individual says, hey, this isn't working for me, then that should be a conversation that needs to be had to say, okay, what isn't working for you? How do you feel like we can go about fixing that and working on that? Like, how can we navigate that together as a team? Can you talk to me about that aspect? And then you work on it, and then you continue your relationship and continue to build stronger bridges, stronger connection, and so on and so forth. But if an individual is saying, hey, I'm done, I don't feel the same way no more, and they just up and leave, then there's no room to work on things. There's no room to fix things because they've already made an executive decision for both of you to say, hey, you know what? I don't fucking want this no more. I'm not even going to leave it up to chance that my partner could be here for me in this moment and help me work through these things. Or I don't believe there's a chance we could pivot and make this relationship better. I'm just tired, I'm done, and I'm out. Doesn't matter if he's an avoidant, doesn't matter if he's anxious, doesn't matter if this is just the way he navigates, doesn't matter if this is just who he is. Because the same way he made an executive decision to just up and leave is the same way he could have made an executive decision to come to you and say, hey, what we're doing right now isn't working for me. I know we've been doing the same thing for years, but I feel like what used to worked for us at that time frame, but now that we are different versions of ourselves, I feel like I need this aspect to change, or I would like for this to look different because this is how it used to make me feel now. This is how it used to make me feel, but now this is how it makes me feel, and I feel like I need more of this or less of that because they want to be with you, they want to stay with you, so you'll try to make it work by communicating, talking about it, right? And because you love them and you care for them, why wouldn't you listen to them? Why wouldn't you hear them? But also express your wants and your needs because you matter as well. So while he's communicating his wants and needs, you hear him, you understand him, you say, okay, well, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? You two come up with a solution. Okay, cool, he's good. And then you like, okay, well, while we're on the topic, here's my wants and here's my needs and here's how I feel. And y'all communicate wants and needs. So now you both have an understanding on how to continue to love each other going forward and what the changes are and what they look like and how to strengthen your relationship. But none of that happened. He just packed all the stuff and said, hey, I'm gone. I can't do this no more. And I understand you're heartbroken and devastated because it was so much time, it was so many years, it was so many memories, it was so much going on, and how could he just up and leave? And this is so frustrating, and it was unexpected, and y'all could have worked on things, y'all could have fixed things. Yeah. Maybe if you would have did this differently, maybe if you would have changed this, maybe if you would have made this decision, absolutely, all that. But who's to say that wouldn't have led you to the same conclusion? Who's to say that he just didn't want to be in a relationship no more because for whatever reasons? Who's to say that he wasn't going through things that he just didn't talk about? And I understand you will say, well, why didn't he say nothing? Why did he? We don't know. We don't genuinely know what the reasons are as to why he did what he did. But what we do know based off what he told you was he's just tired. He can't do this no more. He doesn't want to do this no more. Okay, cool. So where does that leave you now? I'm not saying you shouldn't be heartbroken. I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset. I'm not saying you shouldn't be angry. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel any way. What I am saying is that now that the things have happened that are out of your control, which is your partner up and leaving because you can't control that, which is your partner being unhappy and not wanting to be in a relationship no more, you can't control that. It's your partner causing you to feel the way you feel due to their actions, which you can't really control that because you're naturally reacting as a human being who's in a position to where they care and love their partner, but unfortunately things didn't turn out the way they expected it to. All these things you can't control, but what you can control is what do you decide to do next? What direction you want to go in now? And understand you might not have the answer. I mean, that's 100% fine, not having the answer, but like eventually you will require the answer because you still have to progress through life. I'm not saying get over it. I'm not saying get past it. I'm not saying get through it. I'm not saying everything's going to be better tomorrow. What I am saying is that right now in this moment, I understand how you feel and your feelings are valid. But when you're done crying, when you're done being upset, when you're done being angry, when you're done being confused, when you're done being frustrated, when you're done all these feelings and emotions, when they're done, because they're only temporary, they don't last forever, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with yourself? What are you going to do by yourself? Who are you as a person? What are your hobbies? Have you been working on you throughout the entire relationship, or did you forget about you and focus more on the relationship? And now it's time to focus on you and work through what you got going on internally, whether if it's trauma or unresolved emotions and feelings, or whatever the case is. Like, what about you? And I ask those questions because people tend to lose themselves in relationships, not realizing like you still have to love you. You still have to care for you. You still have to be okay, because no one else is going to look out for you like you look out for you. And if you haven't been looking out for you, then that means that for 12 years, you have not given a fuck about yourself. You've been relying on somebody else to love you the way you should be loved, instead of loving yourself the way you should be loved, but also accepting the love that they're giving. And when they stop giving it, it's okay, because you've already been loving yourself continuously. You never stopped. But if you did stop, you got some work to do. So if you don't know where to start,